The Menu is a movie that I genuinely struggled to find something to talk about when I first watched it. I knew I really liked the movie, but there were so many messages and things going on in the movie that it was hard for me to zone in on one thing for a video, so it ended up being on the back burner when it came to videos I wanted to make. That was until I got a comment on my Thanksgiving video, which you should totally watch, from Ashlyn, who told me to do a video on The Menu. I've been super appreciative of the support that you guys have been giving me the last few videos, so I wanted to really give back and do something that y'all recommended. I went back and watched The Menu so I could find something to zone in on for a video, because for my videos, I like to talk about one thing about a movie or TV show and not the whole thing, because I feel like that leaves too much out. The Menu is a movie that has so much in it, and there's so many layers and things you could talk about that it was really hard for me to find one thing, but I was determined to. And the one thing I landed on was that The Menu makes you feel like the characters deserve to die. And I think that is something that isn't very subtle with the movie. The director doesn't make it subtle, the writing doesn't make it subtle at all. So with the long intro out of the way, let's get into how The Menu makes you feel like everyone in the movie deserves to get killed. Starting with the main protagonist, Margo, she's very clearly a poor person who was tricked into going to this restaurant with the elite. She is written in the most likable way out of anyone in the movie, in my opinion. The writers did this by making her a very relatable character, as most of the people watching this movie aren't super rich and aren't at these very exclusive restaurants that serve these very weird meals. We develop an early sympathy towards Margo in the beginning, as we learn that she is actually being paid to pretend to be this rich guy's girlfriend because his actual girlfriend wasn't able to go with him and he can't get a seat alone. So her being desperate and poor needed to go with him, even though she doesn't care for the food or anything really going on within the restaurant. The majority of the audience agrees with her thoughts on the food. It looks weird, it doesn't look appetizing, and the portions are small as hell. We don't eat these weird meals that they're serving her, and because of that, we kind of relate to how she feels about it. Like, what the heck? While everyone else sitting in the restaurant is like, ooh, this looks fancy and all these other things, we as the audience feel an attachment towards Margo early on because we can relate to her feelings about the food being put in front of her. She's the only character in this movie that I feel like doesn't deserve to die, and the writers do this purposely because she is the main focus. She's poor, she has nothing in common with the rest of these guys, she's here by pure chance, and she doesn't deserve to die. She simply didn't know what she was getting herself into. She has done nothing wrong to deserve this, and even the chef knows it. Knowing that she wasn't supposed to be in the first place is such a small understanding for the audience, but it is a big, important one to get us on Margo's side very quickly into the film. It makes us, the audience, feel like Margo is less deserving to die compared to the rest of the guests at the restaurant because she doesn't have any reasons given. She's there by pure chance. Speaking of the other guests, there are all these rich people who have driven the chef to do these heinous things to them. The actor's there because he's making his movies for money instead of the actual art of it. The old couple is there because they've gone there so many times and are unappreciative of his cooking and take it for granted. The food critics are there because they caused Chef Slowik's culinary downfall and pushed him into this box where you had to make the top of the line food and exactly how they wanted, and even when he does that, they still complain. The group of rich dudes is there because they got rich off financial fraud, and their boss is the owner of the restaurant who Slowik then kills. Finally, Margo's date is there because he's a know-it-all who thinks he knows everything about cooking, even though he has not cooked once in his life. They are all snobs in their own way, whether it's criticizing the food put in front of them, straight up lying, being rude to staff, being entitled, taking the food for granted, whatever it is, we as the audience feel like they deserve this treatment. They all display these awful qualities, and that's all we see out of them. We don't see their more human-natured good side. We only see the bad because that's what the writers focus on when writing their characters. As human as they are, they're written with these awful qualities that we see that make us not want to root for them to live and make us feel like they deserve to die because of the awful qualities that they portray. Their characters are not only shown through words and straight up telling us, but through actions, the way they talk about the food, the way they interact with each other, the way they interact with the staff and Chef Slowik. The writing team does a really good job at making us see how bad of people these guests are. And I think it's just a testament to how well written this movie is in general, that it makes us feel like this big group of people deserves to be killed. As long as the person that we're rooting for lives and who we feel doesn't deserve it, we're happy with the outcome of this movie. Oh my god, it's a Jojo Hinkie cake review. And I'm here with the #1 Jojo Hinkie fan yet again.
Me. He's talking about me.
Do you want to reveal what we're reviewing today?
What we're reviewing today is Oreo cakester things.
What's your opinion on normal Oreos?
I like them, I eat them, and they're yummy.
Well, I opened these. The #1 Jojo Hinkie fan is going to tell you about a brand new thing we're doing.
This thing back here, we made a new channel called Winton Productions to post our short films because we do that a lot. This is Winton. He's who the guy is. This is the cakester. But we just posted a movie, This Totally Normal Addiction. It's like a little parody of My Strange Addiction, but funny because we're funny guys and we made that. And it was really cool, and everyone who worked on it is cool. And what's Jojo Hinky pulling out? Could it be the poster for This Totally Normal Addiction? I made that poster.
You're so cool.
Yeah, I love Jojo Hinky. Let's go. I'm the #1 Jojo Hinky fan, and we're gonna eat Oreo cakesters now, I think.
My first impression is that the cake is hard.
Yeah. This is not very promising.
Ready? Boop. Yeah. My first thoughts were the cake is kind of dry and a little harder than I thought. It feels like a stale piece of cake with like very minimal frosting in between. But I definitely would never get it again. It's kind of just mid. It's like a bad Oreo.
Honestly, in my opinion, it's not even like an Oreo. At that point, if you like an Oreo, why are you getting this? It's I don't know. It's pretty mid. It's just there.
Are you ready to grade it out of 10?
Yes.
Out of 10, I would personally give it a 5. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Really mid, not that great. It's not like bad. It's just not good.
I give it a 4.
Oh my God.
Cause like, at first I was giving it a 5. I'm like, this is pretty mid. But then I was like, nah. Even like the basic stuff they could have done better. Like, that was a dry ass cake or thing, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, that was our review of the Oreo Cakester. Very mid product. We're not the biggest fans. He's the biggest Jojo Hinky fan though. Go subscribe to Winton Productions and we'll get you back to the menu.
Of all the phenomenal writing in the movie, Chef Slowik's writing has to be my favorite. He just has so many layers to his character, and the development throughout the short span of this movie is honestly outstanding. Slowik starts off with this really crazy chef who runs a very chaotic but put together kitchen that seems pretty weird to us at first. The more we learn about his character, the more we learn why Chef Slowik is the way he is. He is forced to make this food that he doesn't enjoy making anymore to please everyone else but himself. He doesn't enjoy cooking anymore, and it's very obvious. The only time we see a smile on his face while he's cooking is when he makes that cheeseburger at the end, or in that picture from back in the day when he first started cooking and flipping burgers himself. We learn that he does not like cooking anymore because everyone takes it for granted. Everyone criticizes him. Everyone makes him do what they want, but he never gets to just take a step back and be like, why do I enjoy cooking? What do I want to make? What do I want to feed people? What culinary ventures do I want to jump into? And I think the best part about his character is that he knows that he's not a good person. He lets one of his sous chefs stab him because of how unfairly he treated her in the past. He knows that he has to go down with this ship because he created this culture. He let them mold him, and that just makes it feel so much more rewarding when his plan finally pays off. The fact that the writing team could create this much empathy and sympathy for a killer is crazy to me. I got to a point where I felt more empathy for this killer than I did for the rest of the guests in the film. The writing in the menu is so good that it made me feel like the characters in the movie deserve to die more than the actual person doing the killing. We want to side with this guy because we know his character and how well it's written and how well it's played. And it just makes you really get into his character and how he feels and how he is. And you really just want to dive deep more into it, but you can't at the end because he goes down with his ship. He goes down with his restaurant, he bursts into flames, and that's the end of his story. He's in this movie to remind us that critics don't have a say over everything. People don't have a say in what you do. Make sure you find enjoyment out of what you're doing and don't lose yourself throughout the way. The Menu is an amazing movie, and I would highly recommend you all watch it. Thank you, Ashton, for the recommendation. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. And with that, let me know what you guys think about The Menu in the comments. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've been saying. Let me know if there's any other movies or TV shows that you want me to watch and touch upon on this channel. I'm trying to do videos twice a month for you guys. Make sure you check out my short films over on Winton Productions where I make movies with my friends. If you want to see more of me, hit those funny buttons down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Appreciate you.
Here's a cheeseburger.